Coming to you from Scenic the Basement at ICN Studios in Brooklyn, I'm Janet Jefferson, and this is And Friends with Janet Jefferson. Every other week, me and a new guest host. Each time, we're going to discuss the latest in pop culture, the industry, life, and much more. And today's guest is none other than Letty DeShon.
Yay!
Woo! Letty DeShon! Listen to how nice that rolls off the tongue, guys.
It's funny, no one ever calls me Letty DeShon. But
Letty
I love
DeShon. It sounds good.
Thank
so,
you.
How are you today, Letty?
I'm good. Very chill, nice day.
Yeah, I mean, when you get over the hell that the C train put us through, let me just say, like, I think that the C train disappoints me more than most things do.
I think MTA and as a whole disappoints me mostly every single day.
Like, this was ridiculous today. Like, I got to Fulton Street Station to take the C pretty early. I got there really early, that like at maybe like 5:20, and I'm like, oh, wow. I'm gonna get here so early. I'm gonna be able to sit down and relax. I don't get here until, what is it? We got here like 7.
Almost.
Absolutely ridiculous.
And I'm coming from the Bronx.
So that's
and
like
I didn't even think my
worse.
Yeah, I didn't think my commute was my commute didn't get bad until I hit Brooklyn. I was just like, okay.
Mm-hmm. The absolute.
That's why I do cabs and not public transportation when I come out here.
For real, like, I've never felt more disappointed by something, except for maybe like Kanye, but we'll get into that in a second. So before each episode begins, we give our Beyonce mood of the day. And the Beyonce mood of the day is basically like how you're feeling today, using a Beyonce song, a lyric, a style, whatever. To just describe how you're feeling.
Mine would be between Flawless and Don't Hurt Yourself.
Nice.
I think mine will always be Don't Hurt Yourself, because I always tell people don't ever play yourself. With me, like, don't do that. So yeah, that's what mine would be.
I think mine would be Pretty Hurts because I went to Houston over the weekend.
Oh, nice.
And I don't know if it's a combination of like the water there or just like me just being a woman, maybe both. But my skin is like breaking out. So I'm like, you know what? I try, but like, you know, Pretty Hurts. It always fails me. Yep. So I think it's like it's that,
part of being
that
a
today.
woman.
I'm just feeling kind of gross, but you know, it'll pass.
Yes.
It passes all the time. Every month, they say.
Yo, seriously. I go through those all the time, so I totally understand.
Every month, they say. So, listeners, remember, I've created a Spotify, that's not a thing, Spotify playlist for the Beyonce Mood of the Day. So if you search Beyonce Mood of the Day on Spotify and follow it, I'll love you forever. Each song mentioned by myself and my friends to start off the show have been and will be added to the playlist after each episode, so you can stay up to date.
Nice.
Because you know she's out here and she's ready to snatch.
Always.
Stay ready, so you don't have to get ready.
No, I love that saying.
I think it's one of my favorite sayings
because it's so much honesty and truth in it.
Absolutely. Okay, so our first segment of the show is called Talk of the Town. Oh. So this week we are gonna discuss a lot of disappointing Black men. Should we go in order of
the disappointment?
Least to most disappointing?
Yes.
Okay, I would say that they're all disappointing, don't get us wrong. But I'd say the least disappointing is R. Kelly, because we know
he's already
he's gross.
Because he's I wouldn't call him the least because I feel like he has no consequences for his actions.
That's the problem.
So I feel like he might be up there in a place where it's a little, we gotta do something about him, because if Bill Cosby can get 10 years for every count that he got trialed for, then
R. Kelly's pushing at least 20 years.
Yeah, he's pushing at least 20 years. It's between minors and like it's a lot like with him. So I feel like he might be in that middle ground. And then Bill Cosby, I love Bill Cosby, but I think that whole situation is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, like what you do is what you do.
It's just crazy, and how you did it was just dirty. And
did you hear that he like he's basically comparing himself to like Nelson? He's like preparing to like use the spirit of Nelson Mandela to get him through his sentence. I'm like, if you don't,
you and Nelson Mandela are two different people,
completely different people.
Two different people.
Nelson Mandela, you know, didn't do anything wrong.
And we're also in America. Like,
yeah,
we're in America. Things are
channel the spirit of
stop.
Get out of here, Bill Cosby. First of all, you know what you did. You admitted to it on the stand. Like, you literally were like, "Oh yeah, I did drug those women to like just do what I needed to do."
Like, how dare you?
And you are like cursing at the like the judge and all the like the jury basically saying like, this is dumb, you're an asshole for letting me, like, for having this happen. He's just like, he was like acting a fool on the stand.
But I think it's like, that means you have no empathy or anything for for what you've done. And I think also because you're so damn old, you think, well, I did it already. It happened like 20 years ago.
I have no sympathy for an 81-year-old in jail.
I don't give him
if
the
you're
max,
81 years old in jail, like, that is, Listen, live your life. The rest of it there.
Yeah, you're going to die anyway. Not to say it like that, but that's just facts.
I thought he was going to die during this trial, to be honest with you. Because, like, he was stressed. Apparently, he's, like, blind in both eyes. Like, he's completely blind. His daughter died. I'm like, I feel like I thought he was going to die during this.
Wait, his daughter died recently?
Yeah. One of his daughters died. I think she had a heart attack. Like, trying to take care of her dad and dealing with all the hell.
Really?
I think she died last year.
Oh.
Yeah, whatever.
That's sad.
I don't know. Anyone who, like, I understand that's your father, but, like, trying to defend him and trying to stick up for him and stuff, like,
I just feel like when things like that happen, you gotta be realistic, like, and just apologize on your father's behalf that he did that. Don't try to, throw salt on it. Well, he did it, but there's no but.
Yeah, there's no but. She did it.
There's no but.
He did
that shit.
And this is unfortunately, this is his legacy as, like, an entertainer, as a comedian, as an actor. I believe that now it's overshadowed by all the hell
I read this weekend and he got stripped from everything.
Yep, no more doctorates, no more anything
from any schools.
Nothing.
It's so sad.
He's just a shell of a man that once was.
Literally.
But I will say this. Unlike many others, I can separate Heathcliff Huxtable from Bill Cosby. So I will still be watching the Cosby Show.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I can separate Kanye's rants, like I always have for a very long time.
We'll get to this in a second.
Okay,
as well.
Okay.
But yeah, I will definitely be still watching the Cosby Show because Cliff didn't do any of that to anybody. Cliff just wanted to, make us feel good, teach his kids some lessons, and give us a good laugh.
Basically.
That's, didn't Keisha Knight Pulliam, like,
she was on his side the whole time.
Oh, dear God.
She was. And Felicia Rashad, she did an interview, and she basically was just like, she doesn't believe that all his legacy should be stripped away from him.
Now, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about.
Me either.
I feel like sometimes it's a little excessive. Like, granted, he did do what he did, but stripping him of everything. I mean, the shame and the jail time, I think, is enough.
Yeah.
Like, that's
But
enough.
I feel like he's doing all of this. Like, what's going to happen to Harvey Weinstein? Because I just feel like he did the same thing, kind of.
And that,
in a
like,
different way. But,
yeah.
I just feel like if we're going to go this far with Bill Cosby, I hope we go this far with him as well. Even though Ashley Judd just
I was just about to say. And he was like, oh, this is ridiculous.
Like, no.
A defamation of character. I'm like, dude, you raped, like, 30 women. Like,
not only that,
that's not a defamation of character.
I also was watching Entourage. I wish they brought that show back on HBO. And he's in an episode. And he's playing himself. And he's a dirtbag. Is he like a sleazy? Yes, he's a dirtbag to the women, the head of... So a lot of in Entourage, a lot of the women were like big agents and stuff like that in the show. And one of the women was like a head of the studio. And he like cursed her out, violated her, and like left. And I was just like, oh shit.
Well, they said that like, yeah, they said Harvey Weinstein's like grossness was like a well-known secret in Hollywood. Like, everyone kind of knew that he was like that, but didn't say anything because he was so powerful, which is not right. Yeah. So it's like, you're just as complicit as everybody else if you don't say anything about things that you know. So, like, I think people had known about Bill Cosby, but they were just like, oh, that's just him, like Crazy Bill. And I'm like, no, it's kind of gross. Not Crazy Bill. So yeah, we got to get, we got
to stop putting like, oh, that's just such and such mean. No, we gotta stop doing that. Like, stop sugarcoating what people are doing and call them out on their shit. Like, that person is who they are, but they did that shit, and it's a problem. Like, we have, like, that's an issue that we need to be discussing. I hate when people do that.
Absolutely. Who they do that with another like person? Oh, Fabulous recently.
Oh yeah,
with all that stuff, they're just like, oh, you know, Fabo.
Nas
like, he's from. Oh, yep, Nas. He was on my list of people we need to discuss.
I love Nas. I love Nas. But you know, we can't sit here and act like he ain't probably a crazy ass Virgo, and he did that. Like we can't be as much as disappointing as I am at the Nas situation, because I love me some Nas. But you know, we don't know what happened behind closed doors at all, so we can't sit here and be like, well, he didn't do that. That's Nas. You know him personally?
Do you know Nas?
You know him.
You know Nasir Jones? Did you grow up in Queens with Nasir Jones?
You know his personality to know that he doesn't do things like that? Because we thought Chris Brown was a sweetheart and he snapped.
Mm-hmm. So, and hearing the fear in Khaleesi's voice when she was talking about how he did this to her and they used to have fights all the time. Like, she wasn't excusing her behavior as well, because she also said, like, yeah, like,
she's not perfect.
If he was getting on my nerves, sometimes I would, you know, smack him around. But she was also bringing up the fact that, like, I've been trying to tell you guys that he can get a little crazy, and you guys are like, no, you're just Khalees, Nas forever. Not the Nas stands. We're just like, whatever. But now she's
as
like,
we think about it, is Nas and Khalees. Like, Nas has a bigger career. Nas is a bigger person.
I love me some Khalees.
Me too, and I love Khalees. Like, she's the best. But I feel like once they broke up, it was more, everybody was
just like going right to Nas's side.
Right to Nas's side. And it was nothing against Khalees, but you know, you don't have him on your arm anymore.
It's the
so
pull.
It's like, okay, anyway.
Yeah, very disappointing.
Yeah.
But you know, and the way he didn't really like address it
at all.
But the social media, like the liking, the comments and stuff was very immature.
So that's why I feel like people with social media, people use social media as a tool to justify certain things. Or they feel like because they threw up a picture or they made a comment or they liked something or they shared something, that it justifies what happened, or you make that your answer for what someone said to you publicly. When all in reality, if we didn't have social media, you would have to address this issue
absolutely
firsthand with your words. Like, you would have to say something. So people, I feel like Kevin Hart said this in an interview with The Breakfast Club, like, people really use our tools on our phone as like a device to protect us, and at the end of the day, you know, when things are said in person, people usually don't know what to say, or you aren't ready to have those intellectual conversations in person because you can't now. But so you throwing up a picture, what does that mean?
And
you know how old that picture is,
all these comments and
you got
stuff.
grown kids out here, like, you
it's absolutely ridiculous. And it's such a shame because as we know, like, in the hip hop community and the hip hop industry, it's like, if you act a certain way and treat a woman a certain way, like, you're nothing happens to you. You're considered like tough, and it's like kind of in vogue to be an asshole. So if Nas actually like said, hey, I did this and I apologize, like, I know his stands are going to stand by him, but like other men are going to just be like, no, it's fine. Like, it's whatever. It's like, no, it's not okay to beat women.
No, it's not. I also feel like as a man and you have friends, like y'all, or men, right? So what do? You tell, like, men pillow talk to me, men talk just as much as women. So when you're having a conversation with your friend, and do you say to him, like, you had to slap her up a couple times? And if you do say that to your friend, what does he say to you? Like, what? Like,
I would just get up and
really
be like, you
her?
cannot slap.
Or like, do you pop on him because he off jump because you feel like, oh, you should be hitting women, so now I feel like I should slap you? Like, what do you do in those types? Because I feel like if I was a man and my male friend told me he slapped his girlfriend, now I want to fight because, bro, you bugging. I got sisters. Like, that's how I would be
exactly.
thinking.
And you have mothers, you have aunts, sisters, grandparents. Like, it's like, you can't. I don't understand why a lot of men they think they can treat other women a certain way, but then they can go home and be like, oh no, like, my daughters are my world. I would never treat my wife terribly. My mother is the reason I'm here. Like, no. If you treat one woman with respect, you got to treat everyone with respect. And
then it's like you're being a hypocrite.
Absolutely.
You're a hypocrite. So because I'm not related to you, I'm not fucking you, then I don't deserve any type of respect because I'm not your mom, or I'm not one of your sisters, or I'm not related to you.
Just a random hoe.
I'm just a random girl walking the street, so it's okay for you to be disrespectful. Nah.
That's absolutely disgusting. So yeah.
Then it's like, clearly your mom didn't do that good of a job raising you, to be honest. If you want to go there, yeah.
If we really want to talk about the facts.
You want to talk about your mother, she clearly didn't raise you that well.
Need more father figures.
That's very true.
And father figures that will be willing to let them, show vulnerability, because that's another problem. They don't know how to express themselves, so they're just out here like thinking that people owe them something and the world owes them something, and it's like no one owes you a damn thing.
Grow up, figure it out. It's life.
So moving on to our good friend Kanye. So I've been a Kanye like fan, like very heavy fan. I wouldn't call myself a stan, but he was the first hip hop artist that I found on my own. I was like 11, and Gold Digger had just come out, and I'm like, oh, I like this. And then my brother, I believe, had the Late Registration album, and I'm like, ooh. So I like stuck it in our computer, listened to it, so my mom wouldn't like hear me playing it, and I was like hooked. I'm like, this guy is so smart with his words. The samples are obviously awesome. So, and he got me a lot of through a lot of like tough times. Like when my mom was diagnosed with cancer, it was around the same year that 808s came out. So I was like, oh, this is, like I feel it. Yeah. And then when she passed, I was like, I went back and revisited it, and just like it made me feel better in a way.
Yeah.
So he's gotten me through a lot of things. So it's disheartening to see him try to get attention in the way that he's getting it, in such a
disgusting way,
a toxic, dangerous way. Like I understand, like we know Kanye's a Gemini. He wants attention. It's just the facts of life. That's how they are, male or female. Yeah, that's no shade 100. To you Geminis, but that's just a fact. You know how you be. So, like, this is one way to get attention. I get it. I know what you're trying to do. Using Twitter to just like be your outspoken self. But to alienate your entire base. Like, what are you thinking?
Not only that, I just like what's the point of this?
It's not, there is none.
That's my thing. Like, what's the point of it? Like, you sitting here trying to tell us that we should ignore the fact that slavery happened 400 years ago. Why are you telling us that? Oh my goodness gracious! Like, what's your point?
And the thing that pissed me off about that whole thing today was how, although he was, pretty misled in his thought process in the Charlemagne interview for the most part was cohesive. So it's like, oh, okay, then like he sounds comfortable. And then he goes on TMZ with all these white people, and then he's just Uncle Tomming.
And then you got the one black dude that had to like really check you.
And then he was like, "Oh my God, I'm sorry,
so sorry, I hurt you." Like what do you mean?
That was basically like the equivalent of the camera flash and Get Out. He just needed a black man to be like, "What the hell are you doing?" And then he's like, his nose is bleeding, and he's out of it. He's out of it again.
I just feel like when I don't know the guy's name from TMZ, but the one black dude.
I think his name is I don't know.
But it'll come to me. I feel like he really spoke. I feel like he said everything that we wanted to say to him. Like how disheartening and disappointing that you are telling these things and not realizing that what you say have consequences, and you make people feel some type of way because of who you are and what you've done for us in these last 10 years. I feel like when you're rich and you sit here and talk about a black issue and you're black, and you talk about all these certain things, it's like, just like he said, like, you're a rich black man. Like, you don't live what we live every day. You don't live in a hood anymore. Your ass is in Calabasas. You made it very clear in your Charlemagne interview that you're making a community in Calabasas, and you're from Chicago, one of the most dangerous cities in America.
And Calabasas is not a dangerous city.
Not at all. You are a gated community, if anything, and you guys are beyond upper class.
The champagne life.
That's
like
what that
North
is. Everybody
and Saint will not live that life.
So exactly. So you sitting here talking about, you can sit here and tell your kids to ignore slavery. Why? Because they would never really feel and understand what that came from because of how they're going to be raised. You can't sit here and tell me that when my grandmother is 89 and she's still alive. I'm sorry. I feel like you sound fucking stupid.
He does sound
like that.
Dumb.
Like, you can't tell me that when my grandmother can sit here and tell me stories and she's grown up in the South and I've sat there and listened to her talk and you're going to tell me to forget it? I don't think that's fair.
Like
for you to say that to me.
The blatant groveling for like white approval that he does when he like, you hear it, he changes his voice. It sounds stupid. I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of him trying to be the man's name is Van Lathan from TMZ. Someone in my, because I was just like, oh, like Van Lathan, like some heroes don't wear capes. And someone was like, oh, like, no one paid attention to Van Lathan before. I'm like, because he works for TMZ. Like,
he's the
duh,
only
why would I
black
ever
dude.
take him seriously? But anyway, it's
but
like,
that doesn't change the fact that what he said was right.
Absolutely. Like, that was 100% spot on. And the fact that Kanye was like chasing him down, he's like, I'm sorry if I hurt you. He's like, no, you hurt everybody. Like, it wasn't just me, you hurt absolutely everybody.
And he just has a platform to tell it to you in your face. Like, that's what that is. And I commend him. Thank you for saying that. Like, thank you, Van. Appreciate you for that one.
It's just like, there's one way to sell an album, and then there's the wrong way to sell an album. And this is just disgusting.
You don't think that people are going to buy your album or listen to your album regardless?
Exactly.
Like you sat there in the Charlamagne interview and you talked about how you had 16,000 people there at Madison Square Garden. You had Young Thug up there with you. You plugged in your iPod and you had everyone listen to your album. And then you feel that you have to do this for us to listen or stream your album.
Exactly.
I said you had 16,000 people come to Madison Square Garden
Kanye stands serious.
Literally for a fashion show. Like, you had a fashion show at Madison Square Garden.
And you didn't give any notice.
And you didn't
like
just
3 days.
Not only that, like, I know diehard Kanye fans. Like J Tips, a good friend of mine, rapper that's from the Bronx. He's loved Kanye since I've known him. And he's one person I know, if there's anything Kanye, he's going to go for, or he's going to be there. And he's a person that I know that got tickets and went. Like, that's things that people do for you. Like when Kobe Bryant retired and he had that shirt made, I did everything in my power to get a shirt because it was Kanye and it was like Kobe Bryant. Like, you don't got to do much, Kanye. That's like Hov going on these rants. Hov don't got to do much. He could drop something on Tidal and everyone's going to listen to it.
That's why Beyonce only gives 2 days notice before she tells you to rearrange your schedule and your bank account, basically, to go on tour. Because you know people are going to do it.
And I'm those people. Tell me, Beyonce and Jay-Z, that I need and when they go on sale, 2 weeks, okay, I need to have at least $400 in like
Kanye
2 weeks.
Doesn't have to do this. His platform is, as much as we, like, people get annoyed that, like, we call him a god, whatever, his platform has transcended what musicians can do. He's done so much in the entertainment industry that he doesn't need to put on an act or a show or try to pander to another audience. Because, granted, like, although we're like, oh, cancel Kanye, people still listen to Lift Yourself. People still listen to Ye vs. the People. And who listened to it? Us. Black people, Latinos, people of color. Donald Trump's base is not going to listen to Kanye's album. Like, they're going to just say, oh, look at this
black guy. He's on our side now.
And he likes Donald Trump. Like, that's all they're going to do. They're not going to listen to My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. No. They're not going to do it.
When he was on TMZ, he was saying how back in the day, it was cool to put Donald Trump in a lyric.
Oh my God.
And I was like, I get what you're saying.
But it's
guess what? That same person that we was putting in lyrics, we secretly didn't know that he didn't like us.
Actually, we kind of did. We kind of knew. Because when it was the Central Park 5 and he had all those like advertisements that basically said like, oh, these people are animals. Like, and they were obviously didn't do anything wrong. And Donald Trump's always been an asshole. I think it's just like the money thing that people are like, oh,
because if you think Donald Trump, that's like the richest thing not in New York City, but
he's got his name on everything.
Everything. I was just walking downtown, and I probably on 2nd Avenue, there's probably 3 Trump plazas from 51st Street to 70th Street.
Another Gemini.
And I was just like disgusting. See, that's why they get along so well. He understands himself.
Yeah, because they're both megalomaniacs who just want their name on everything. That's the whole reason that Donald Trump wanted to run for the presidency anyway. He's like, look, he's done it. I've got a Trump hotel, I got a Trump this, I got a Trump that. Might as well have a Trump America.
Yeah.
I'm an asshole. Oh my God. Oh my God. He's just like, he just absolutely disgusts me. And then this is not, well, it's related to Kanye, but it's not about Kanye. Chance the Rapper needs to shut the hell up.
Yeah.
This did not concern
Not only
him.
that, but Chance, you are not young, but you're not their age group. Like, sit down. Like, just relax.
You
like,
just turned 25. Like,
still be the youth that
have
we
your
need you to
birthday
be.
cake. I'm sure it's still in the fridge.
That's what I need you to do.
You know, you should have just sat there and ate your food, as Tiffany Pollard once said.
I feel like, exactly. Shout out to New York.
My
I
queen.
love her. She's a Capricorn. She's everything.
Honestly, like, Chance did not have. And then he's like, oh, like, when I see my idol get upset, or get like talked
but
about.
But this is like grown folks' business. Kanye's like almost 40. You're 25. Sit down.
Like you
like relax. Like stay in your place. Stay in your place.
Oh my gosh. It was just like, it just went too far. Like Donald Trump Jr. Retweeted Chance, and then Donald Trump was like, thanks, Chance. Like,
no,
they know what's going on in the black community. For, and
like, then you like, oh wait, what's happening? No, Chance, you started that.
Yep. And then he's like, I misspoke. My apologies.
Yeah,
I'm like,
you
shouldn't have sat. You should just have sat there and ate your food.
Yeah, you should have just watched the tweets like everybody else.
Just go play with Kinsley. Like, you didn't have to do anything else.
I was very like, come on, Chance, not you too. Like, you're supposed to be the voice of the youth for real. And you go and do this. Like,
now, I kind of had a feeling that Chance was going to end up, like, messing up. But I didn't know it was going to be to this extent.
But I feel like every big celebrity has a mess up.
I was kind of ready. Moment. Like, he's kind of got, to me, he has a really big head. Like, he got his Grammy. He's changed the music industry in such a way at such a young age that he's like, oh, I can do this and this and this.
And I can say things and I can do this.
Yeah. And the whole like, oh, I did it like from the ground up. No, Chance the Rapper is a business. Like, he is a business. He is a brand. He did not do this by himself.
No.
And that bothers me. Like, he just, like, I like him. I've met him once and he's very kind. But I honestly, ever since, the accolades started to roll in, I've seen a change in him that kind of bugs me.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you think it's because he got a little beside himself because of all his accomplishments?
Yes. Absolutely, yes. Absolutely, yes.
I like Chance, but Chance is not like my go-to rapper. He's not in my...
He got so corny. Like, honestly, Acid Rap was so good. I mean, like, Coloring Book was good too, but... it's not the same. Like, Coloring Book was like all about like, his transformation. Like, he's using gospel music in hip hop, like giving us a taste of like what it's like to be saved. But like,
you don't sound convinced.
I'm not very convinced. Because like, how long ago was Acid Rap? 5 years. So you were out here like getting in trouble, getting suspended, doing all this stuff for like drugs, and now you're like, oh no, that's not me. I'm like, that's how you were made.
That's also like money. Like,
yeah.
Well, you don't have to do that anymore. So that's not you. Like,
I know he'd be still doing it. He's a liar. He's a liar. But yeah, are you still gonna listen to this Kanye album?
Oh yes, I am a person that can 100% separate my feelings for a person and their talent. Like, I can give two shits that you are a dickhead. Like, I don't. That's not my business. When he did that Taylor Swift shit, me personally,
I stood up and cheered.
I didn't feel bad for her. I was in my college dorm like, oh shit, that's mad funny. Like,
because everyone knows the tea. Yep, exactly. It was absolutely right.
Maybe I'm a little. I realized in life that I'm a little insensitive, so I didn't care that she was a teenager and this is a grown man doing this to her and he's off the Henny and honestly,
and then she took that train and ran with it. Pity me, pity me.
Yeah, and Kanye said like in his interview with Charlamagne, like after he did that, he could see things that were hitting before weren't hitting like they used to be. Like, radio didn't click like they were clicking for him because of that one thing. Yeah, Kanye, you disrespected a 15-year-old white girl. Duh. Like, you would have, first of all, you would have never done that to a 15-year-old black woman. Oh, because she would have hit you in the face. I would have snatched it back from him like, Ma,
do you
get this dude off the stage?
Like, what is going on here?
Yeah, that'd have been me, but no, I didn't feel bad.
Yeah, because like, look, exactly, like, look at it. And what happened after that? My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy was the best album of his career. And that is, you can fight me on it.
That's a fact.
Because it sure the hell was. Start to finish. Perfect, flawless, beautiful album.
I love that album. And I was kind of surprised. I was just like, okay, 808s and Heartbeats wasn't really one of my go-tos.
I think it's because that hit me when I needed it to hit me.
It was also a very slow album. Like, it was very mellow.
Nice and moody.
Yeah, very moody.
I'm trying to
That was an album I played in one of my jobs that we couldn't really play rap music. But I was just like, 808s Heartbeats is a perfect rap album that's not really a rap album.
I'm trying to think of, like, my favorite Kanye albums in order.
My favorite Kanye album is Graduation.
I think that's number 2 for me.
It has all of the... has Champion.
Did you realize?
Yeah, like, it has all of those on there.
You know what song I love from there I think doesn't get the shine it needs? Homecoming.
Oh, girl, you just...
I don't know why no one talks about Homecoming.
First of all, I love the video.
I think it's beautiful.
I love the video. Homecoming is probably top 3 Kanye West songs for me personally.
Did you do the Kanye Madness bracket?
Yes, I did.
Okay, what were your top 2?
It was Damn, I don't remember. I can tell you my Beyonce's.
I remember the Beyonce ones too.
My Beyonce's, it was between Resentment and Rocket.
Ooh.
But Resentment will always be forever my favorite Beyonce song.
Do you know that was a Victoria Beckham song first?
Really?
Mm-hmm. Posh Spice did that song first.
Like
Posh
Spice can really sing.
Like,
she was like,
it depends on who you're talking to.
Vocals like be.
It was like definitely a lower range. Like Beyonce, like, you know, did her thing.
Yeah, basically.
What were my top 2? I think my top 2 on the Beyonce bracket were Get Me Bodied and Upgrade You.
Nice.
Get Me Bodied is
obviously
shit. One.
You know what's really crazy?
I almost crashed my car like a couple months ago. It was like, I'm feeling it again.
Like the song just came out. It's funny to me because I really not a fan of Beyonce ballads, like when she just wants to sing her heart out. Yeah, like I'm not. If I Was a Boy, it's not a favorite of mine. None of those slow songs are a favorite of mine. But Resentment is like
just takes me to a place.
And I'm just like, she was hurt.
Remember On the Run when she sang it in her wedding dress and she was like sobbing? I'm like, this is it.
I went to On the Run and I the first ever Jay-Z concert I went to without my twin, and I was there by myself, and I had these row of white people behind me, like every concert that I go to, and these little girls could not. They didn't get it. Like, mind you, it was like me and like 2 black girls, and then the rest was white. And she sung Resentment and Lauryn Hill cover she did, X Factor, I think.
Jeez.
And we were singing our hearts out, and the white people were just like staring at us.
Yep.
I was just like, y'all, these shouldn't even fucking be here.
I remember the first Beyonce concert I went to. They didn't pop up until I think Single Ladies came on. I'm like, you paid all this money to come to this concert and you don't stand except for one damn song. You got some nerve.
Literally, and tickets ain't cheap.
No.
I've been going to concerts since I was 13. My mom has been sending me to concerts by ourselves. Mm-hmm. And I knew it was real when we went to see Jay-Z, Lil Wayne, and Neo and the Lox in Jersey.
Oh my goodness.
And this is when Jock and Jay-Z came out because he performed. That was the song he closed with. And Lil Wayne was second before Jay-Z closed the show. And these white girls, it was a group of them though, like 15 deep. They didn't even get up for Neo. They didn't get up for the Lox. Lil Wayne came out.
They went
Them bitches was just on top of the seats. Lil Wayne left the stage. They were gone.
Back down.
They were gone. They didn't even stay to see Jay-Z. No. They were gone, and I couldn't believe that.
It's
I was like, so
like
y'all
a generational thing.
Yeah, I was like, y'all paid like $300. This is also like Lollipop phase. Lil Wayne.
That's when
like,
he was like in his prime.
Yeah, this was that time period, and I was just like, so y'all paid $300 to come and see one person for 45 minutes.
Okay,
cool. Not me. Not my parents.
No,
I couldn't believe that. I tell people all the time, white people are at concerts, not us. Unless it's Summer Jam. That's another story. But if it's not Summer Jam, we are not at concerts. We are not spitting out $400 or $500 for a ticket like my dumb ass would. Like, I would save $500 for a concert ticket. And when I tell people that, they're like,
when I spend money on concerts, it's because I know I'm going to be getting my money's worth. Yep. Like, when I go to On the Run, July 30th in Philadelphia.
Oh my God, girl. Yes, me too. I'm going to Philly with me and my twin.
So excited.
Yes, me too. We're going to see Janet that Saturday.
Oh my gosh. And a jam-packed weekend full of queens.
We leave for Philly on Sunday and we come back on Tuesday.
But you best believe I'm going to be twerking to Destiny, because you know she's gonna have a Destiny's Child.
I can't wait.
Okay, I have a premonition that Meek Mill is coming out during the show.
Oh, in Philadelphia.
Yes.
Oh well, she has to, and he has to come
in the hood hollering free Meek.
Yes,
he's gonna pop out.
Girl,
I feel it.
He
watch.
He
watch.
Is.
And
when it happens, I'm gonna be like, Waz, can you like give me a clip of that so I can tell people that we said this was gonna happen?
Remember the day
months ago,
7:53 p.m. May 1st.
That we said that.
Meek Mill is going to be at the show.
Because when that happens, I will be losing my mind.
Oh, I'm going to scream. And I've never been like a Meek Mill fan.
Oh, me either.
But
I'm gonna just be excited for him.
The injustice that he had, the Philly fans are out here. Oh, yeah. Like they love a Philly boy. Mm-hmm. And you know that.
I went to school in Philadelphia. I went to, my mom sent me to UArts, University of the Arts, for their summer programs for dance for 2 years straight when I was a teenager. And when I say they are a difference, I thought I grew up in the hood, but nah.
Philly fans are
they're different.
They love
they
their
different out there.
City.
They love what And I thought, like, because I always think Brooklyn people love Brooklyn. Like, when you meet a Brooklyn person and they're like, I'm from Brooklyn, they just go 30 times hard. Like, who cares? But, sorry, Wise. But then when you meet a Philly person and they tell you they from Philly, they have the same type of energy. And I'm just like, oh, y'all are just really
I'm telling you this right
from.
now. Do you think that Brooklyn fans, I mean, if we had a football team, you think that Brooklyn fans would have broke the awning of the Ritz-Carlton after their team won the Super Bowl? Because that's what Philly did.
Really?
They jumped on that awning at the Ritz-Carlton after the Eagles won the Super Bowl, and that shit crumbled to the ground.
Oh, my God.
Philly is something else.
Oh, my God. I had no clue.
They were swinging on the stop signs, and they were hanging off the stoplights.
Wait, when's
and
the
they
last time
broke...
Philly won a Super Bowl?
Never!
Oh, that's why they're acting
So
fool.
they went bonkers.
Okay. But I respect that they should have.
Yeah, I mean, it was a long time coming. It happened, and, you know.
I didn't know that they went that hard.
So that's what I was going to say. I'm like, after Meek gets out of jail, you know that the Sixers are going to play hard as hell. I think they lost to Boston yesterday, but, you know, they're going to use the spirit of Meek. Robert Rameek and come back and be stronger than ever. Because the Sixers suck, but this year they really, really turned it around.
They tried.
They got all these first round draft picks.
They're like, you know what? We won a Super Bowl. We have to keep it going.
Keep that momentum. Keep that same energy.
We got to keep that same energy as February. Let's do it the entire year.
Yeah,
if they won a Super Bowl and a championship,
the whole city's gonna burn to the ground.
And I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go.
The Liberty Bell is going to be missing.
Made in America is going to be like 2 months after that. So I'm like,
God.
yeah.
Made in America. I just hope that it's going to be dusty again.
It is because
it's so dusty because it's in the fields.
Yeah.
It's so
I'm
awful.
also 4'11", and I don't think festivals are
I'm not meant to be at a festival.
So when we go see Janet, it's at a festival. And,
God.
But I told...
Are you going to Panorama?
Yes. And I said, like, we have to have VIP because I can't die. Like, that's my thing. Like, I'm not dying. No one's bum rushing me when Cardi B comes out because they're super excited.
Oh, no, she's not performing anymore.
Oh, right, because she's pregnant. Oh, that sucks. That's kind of reason, like, reason why I bought my ticket.
It was rough because she, even at Coachella, she was massive, couldn't breathe, was
even
asthmatic.
This festival,
yeah, Broccoli City looked a damn mess, sweating. she was
looked
having
cute. I liked her outfit,
cute, but
she was tired.
She was tired.
She was tired.
Stomach all like hanging out.
And I know you
poor
tired
thing.
When you stand up and you're leaning a little forward back, but you can't help that because you're just so big. And I noticed that my friend she was at my house and saying she drops this month. And when she was talking to me standing, and I'm like, are you leaning? She's like, no, Latrice, I'm standing. And I'm like, oh, you're just big as fuck.
She's just really
I'm
big.
just like, you're just fucking huge.
Like,
okay.
Yeah, Cardi had to cut, she cut many of her songs short apparently at Broccoli City because she's like, I
can't do it.
I can't do all this.
How do you breathe with that on
especially
your chest?
Since she's a rapper. And rappers, that's a lot of breath control.
Not only no one's Beyonce and hitting it like the Grammys and singing.
Yeah, Cardi B's, relatively new still. This is all very fast and new to her. So for her to be out here expecting to do all these shows and have a baby in her tummy, obviously she's not going to be able to do that shit.
She's no Beyonce.
Oh,
not yet.
No.
Well, those would be Beyonce, but
I don't know if not ever.
I was like, those would be Beyonce, but
she'll be the best Cardi
that she can be. Shout out to the Bronx.
The best Cardi
that she can be.
Oh, so yeah. Moral of the story. Black men are disappointing.
Yeah, and it's been a week full of that shit.
Yeah, it's a very extrosting, long
especially the first week Kanye got on Twitter, I was just like, oh, God.
Yeah, because it was just all these fortune cookie-esque, fake woke things. Some of them stuffs I retweeted, and I was like, ugh, now I feel like I need to delete them.
I'm not going to lie to you. I unfollowed him because he was kind of annoying me.
I have to mute him. I still follow him because, like I said, the music for me is more important.
I have a question.
Sure.
So, did you see the post that Snoop Dogg put up? And he wrote that your wives are a reflection of who you are.
Yes.
What do you feel about that?
I don't know how I feel about that in terms of Kanye because I feel like Kim just lets him do whatever he wants.
But I also feel like when it comes to that, because I feel like he was comparing B and Hov to them. I feel like
Beyonce is also a black woman.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I feel like you didn't marry a black woman. So,
he almost did with Alexis.
That was 15 years ago, right?
No, it wasn't. That was for 808s. That's part of the reason why they broke up. He did the album.
I thought that was because of Amber.
No, Amber was after Amber and him broke up before My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
Okay. So I'm off with that. Okay, but I just
good albums come from
good place. Well,
from
I feel like a lot of good things come from hurt things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a believe that sometimes. Like I'm a person that some things can happen for me, and because I don't want to deal with it, I'll just create something new, or I'll write something, and I'll be like, oh, I'm gonna give this to Days or somebody to, hey, I got this idea, figure this out. And then they'll be like, oh, Latrice, we did this. And I'm just like, I'm not at that place anymore. Like, I literally just figured that out.
This
did
is
not
the
want
old
to deal with
me.
what I was dealing with. But yeah, I just feel like when Kim tweets, it kind of bothers me because I feel like her opinion to me on rap music, hip hop is irrelevant as fuck.
When she's like, "Oh my god, this album is fire," or like you just started listening to rap, so
or like when it's a video of John Legend and Kanye West and Kris Jenner is in the video and she's walking by, and I'm just like,
I just don't want their input on anything. Like when they got when they came and they were like trying to stunt at Madison Square Garden during like the life of Pablo. It's like, just stop it. You guys just found out about rap.
8 seconds ago
in 2012 when they started dating.
Like, stop. Like, so things like that bother me a lot. So, you know, when she sit here and she comments on Kanye music, or like, because to me, like, to be very honest with you, if Kim listens to College Dropout, you could not relate to that album. Nothing part of you and your entire family can relate about that album.
Only thing they can relate to is when they say anything about like being rich or anything directly about the Kardashians.
Like Spaceship. You cannot dare in your mind know what he's talking
they've never
about
worked.
In that song.
If the manager insults me again, I'll be assaulting
him. You don't know what that feels like.
Because you never worked.
Or exactly, you never worked before. Or you working at a store and black people walk in and your employee or your manager tells you, can you follow them? And you're like, wait, I gotta follow them. Like, for what? Because they're black?
She
like,
still doesn't recognize her privilege
exactly.
at
Like, you
all.
don't understand that.
Like, when she calls her cornrows Bo Derek braids.
It's just like,
and
bitch.
She's like, oh, they're so cute. Like, Bo Derek wore them so beautifully. I'm like, but Bo Derek got it from black people.
Did
or
you know that?
In that whole episode of the Kardashians where she was trying to figure out what to do with North's hair because North has ethnic hair and she doesn't know what to do with it. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
My whole thing is always like, Kanye, you don't have no female cousins. Like, where's your family when it comes to these black children? Like seriously,
because Chicago's gonna have ethnic hair as well.
Too. Yeah, like what happened? How was that gonna dynamic? Like, we have these, and I'm all for people loving each other. I don't give a shit what color you are. But if you are a biracial family and you are black, I'd be damned if you have a wife and you're not educating her on what you've gone through in your life, or telling her, like, we have black children, these are things that they need to and have to know. Like, I have 2 daughters and they're gonna have black hair. You should talk to my cousin about getting her hair done because she doesn't have Armenian hair. Her hair's not gonna be long like and silky. Like, it might be long, but that silky shit is not gonna work with North.
Yeah, you can't like always slick him in those bent back ponytails every time. Like, North's hair can't always do that.
Do you not see how Blue be rocking her shit?
Blue is out here being
my little Capricorn
easy,
be out
breezy,
here
beautiful,
stunting.
Bad little baby. I love
seriously.
Blue is just out here.
Stunt out here like Blue.
You know, if Blue and North switched places, Blue would just be like, what do you want to put in my hair now?
Yeah, like, huh?
Get out of here.
No.
Get that texturizer out of here.
Where's my mom?
Is that a kitty perm? You better keep it away.
Yeah, like don't not over
Blue
here.
Would not be having that. North, I feel like, would just
scream.
Yeah,
I
feel like North just screams.
First of all, when I was seeing that picture of them at the fashion show and North is crying, and Beyonce has like her shoulder and it's Anna Wintour and everybody, I'm just like, that's the picture of the. Y'all are all famous, or y'all are all like popular, but it's that one girl y'all are just like, this girl.
And you know that,
like,
Beyonce
it's just
that.
It's like that.
Kim.
This is that one girl you're just like, I don't care for her, and that's Kim. Like, and your fucking kids. Like, I'm sorry, my ass would have been like, you really brought your kid here, your front row, bitch.
And
like,
Anna
why are you in here?
Wintour is just, she's not that kind of woman who would just put up with that.
Nah, I'm not.
Regardless,
and I'm not even rich.
I don't care if Anna Wintour and Kanye are friends, or Anna Wintour and Kim, whatever. You don't do that. You don't disrespect Anna Wintour at her own
Not
damn
only
show.
that, I'm a person that I feel like kids should only go where kids should go.
Kids should be seen.
Yeah, like
where kids are supposed to be seen.
And I feel like at a fashion week in New York City front row fashion show,
when you're like 6 months old,
like you don't belong there.
Like she probably just wanted, not only
that,
fruit snacks.
I'm super selfish. If I'm dressed up for the front row, I'm not holding a baby because then again you can't see my full outfit. How that's gonna happen? Like I'd have been thinking that far. I'd be like, my child couldn't be here because like they can't see my whole outfit.
Yeah, Chris has all this free time. She could have taken care of the baby.
Thank you. Like nannies, babysitters, they could have figured that out.
How many siblings are there? Rob could have done it. He didn't have China or Dream.
All of them had kids.
I
wonder if Kendall's ever gonna have children. I doubt it though.
I feel like Kendall's too into her career.
Yeah, I think she's also one of my favorite. Her and Courtney.
I think I like those two the best because they're the most normal. Although Kendall just doesn't think sometimes, and that's frustrating. Like she does things and you're like, she's like, oh wait, my bad. I'm like, yeah, my bad. You've already done it. Like, you already did it.
Like that, my bad is way late. Like you shouldn't have done it.
I also have a theory that Kylie is not taking care of that child. She just had it because she wanted to play house, and she's like, my esthetician was like, oh, she actually said a really good point. She basically said like, you know, Kylie has been famous since what, 10, 11? She didn't have a childhood. So she's like, oh, you know, I'm a mogul. I have all this money. The next logical step is for me to be a real woman and be a mom. But, you know, she's still a kid. I don't think she's taking care of that child. I think I hate, oh my God. We have a segment at the end called Unpopular Opinions. So this I don't think is an unpopular opinion, so I'm going to say it now. I hate when people take pictures with their babies with the Snapchat filter.
Oh yes.
It's so frustrating.
I also hate when people take pictures of themselves when they're in the hospital.
Yes.
Or like
we have to know everything.
You have your selfie and you really want people to see that
your
you're
IVs
to an IV. And I'm just like, why do you want people to?
Why can't you just try to get better or have a child in peace?
Or like, do y'all not have any boundaries when it comes to your personal lives? Like,
I'm just
what do you like? I'm sorry. I'm also a person that hates hospitals, so you'd be damned if I'm gonna flaunt that I'm in one. Like, I'm not doing that.
That was like, I think this for me. That's when the straw was drawn when DJ Khaled videotaped his wife giving birth.
See, but that's like I watch
invasion of privacy.
I take my I have my share of Ratchet TV and I watch Love and Hip Hop all the time. And I was watching Love and Hip Hop in Atlanta, and one of the characters' son died, and the cameras was at the fucking funeral, and I was like, you gotta be kidding me! Like, how much was that check that y'all cut to do that? Because me and my sister was talking, I was like, if my son died and I was on reality TV, you gotta cut me at least at least $5 million for you to bring them cameras in here. Like, I'm sorry, like this is beyond personal.
Of privacy.
It's beyond personal. This is some real shit. And you really brought some cameras at the funeral? I was like, yeah, Mona, you're crazy.
But yeah, Kylie is definitely not taking care of that child. I'll tell you that right now.
What? I like Kendall.
Yeah, Kendall.
And I really
is cool.
think I like Courtney because she's probably just as small as me. And she represents,
she's
and she's
very
the
little.
oldest child.
She seems like she has the most common sense.
Yeah, and she I used to watch
except
Kardashians
for she's
heavy.
dating like a 24-year-old.
Yeah, and then she also dated Scott for way too long than she should have. I watched the Kardashians when it first would come out, and she's the only one that to me was very. She kept it.
I think she was the only one that went to college.
Yeah, and then that graduated and everything.
No shade to anyone who didn't go to college,
but
it is important.
Yeah, but she definitely went. And besides Khloe always keeping it a buck with them and bringing them back to reality, like, no, we're not doing that. I always thought Courtney was didn't give a fuck about a lot of things. She's also a person that I've with other people, when people talk about myself, she has no sympathy for others. and I realized that because she'll tell you in interviews, like, I tell my sisters all the time, don't cry in front of me, because she doesn't know how to express the fact that you're sad in front of her. And I respect that.
Stop being sad.
Yeah, like, stop being sad, don't cry. Or like, it's an episode where she laughed at Kim the entire time.
Because, when she dropped her earring in the ocean, she's like, Kim, there are people that are dying.
And literally did not give a fuck that she lost $1,000 earrings. She was like, Kim, like, what, like, stop.
There are worse things
that are happening in the world. And I love that she did that, like, because you're right. Like, there's people dying. You're worrying about earrings, girl. And then Chris says to her, that's why we have insurance. Why are you still crying? Like, you have insurance on your $1,000 pair of earrings, girl. Relax. It's okay. My mom would have been like, You don't have no more.
Your earring is gone.
It's gone.
You can buy some more later. Mm-hmm. Well, this was a jam-packed talk of the time. I really appreciated it. So now we're going to questions with the guest.
Okay.
So tell everybody a little bit about what you do.
Okay, so I'm from the Bronx, 28. I work for Day Summit. So Day Summit is an organization that basically gives back to high school students, and we have our annual summit every year, which is during the CUNY spring break. So we just finished our 3rd annual summit, which was April 2nd to the 11th. Mm-hmm. So basically, I'm the editor-in-chief of their website. So I make sure we have content and material throughout the year until our festival comes along, and we start building for that every year.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So what's your creative background?
So I danced most of my life.
Woo-woo!
So from 3 to about 22. I trained in ballet, modern, and contemporary.
Nice.
I also, in the midst of doing that, I could never work because I had my mom had me on a full strict dance schedule till I left college. So I would always collect magazines and things like that. So my godmother bought me a subscription to Vibe, and from she bought me Vibe only, and I got that every month for like years. Mm-hmm. And in the midst of that, I would buy my own XXL in the source. Mm-hmm. And then as time went by, when Complex first came out, then I was buying Complex. So I was pushing out like $20, $25 a month for like a bunch of magazines. I still have all my magazines from like 98 to maybe 2010. For all those publications till this day. So that's where I would get my like writing skills from. Or I also hated to read growing up. I thought reading was like not something I like, no. So that's where the magazines came in, because my godmother knew that I didn't like to read, but when I would go to her house, that's what I did read. Mm-hmm. So she gave me those, and that's how I got like my music knowledge up, and I knew way too much at 11 about music and things like that. And dancing, because I danced different types of dance and not your normal hip hop and tap and all that stuff that I hated, I was always drawn to different types of genres of music because of that. Mm-hmm. So that's where I got like music based from, and wanting to learn everything about that, and just reading a lot and dancing. Like dancing really took my creativity and my confidence to do that to another level, because dancing, you got to be kind of fearless, especially in ballet. It's a totally different world than hip hop.
I am not a ballerina at all. I was a gymnast first, and gymnasts aren't always, we're small and like agile, but we're not built for ballet. We have like,
but you guys are always
big shoulders.
Yeah, and ballet is turned thin, and gymnastics is turned out. And I know people who try to do transitions, like they're ballerinas and they want to be gymnasts, and it's like you literally have to change your whole muscle structure in your body.
Was not built
for that. To to do that, like you have to go through probably 3-4 years of training before you do anything, just so your muscles can literally turn around in your. As crazy as that sounds, that's what is happening. But and I was like always the only black girl in my dance classes and stuff like that. So me being fearless and trying to take creative to another level, or trying to convince my dance teachers that I want to dance to Impossible by Kanye West and Twista and Keisha Cole, and I want to do a contemporary dance, and me having to give her a real like presentation on why I should choreograph this piece for my class, like things like that I would do, and I took pride in doing that. Like, oh, German bitch, you want me to do a present? Oh, you got the right one. I'll do a presentation on why I should choreograph this piece. So that's where like most of my creativity came from. And my twin's a geek, so she read a lot, and she would tell me everything she reads, detail from detail, and I would listen. So that's how I got a lot of like knowledge. And I hated school, so that's how I did everything outside of school that I needed to do for what I wanted to do without disappointing my parents, because I hated school, if that makes sense.
So you're also the founder of Who Did You Meet?
Yes.
So explain a little bit about Who Did You Meet?
Okay, so Who Did You Meet is a networking event that I created in 2015. So basically, I used to work for a all-woman company called Dominator Media. It's actually how I met Wise. And I met them, and we were like grooving for a while, or whatever the case may be, and then we departed. And then I started working for Blame Ebro. from Hot 97, and they would send me on like a lot of events, and I would cover Who's Next Live every month for them. I would do interviews here and there, and I would write for them sometimes and do interviews. And when I would go to these places, I would realize that it's very cliquey. And I'm not saying I do that as well. Like, I'll go to events with my girls, and we'll all work in the industry, and we'll just go together because it's food, drinks, and we're chilling, mingling, but we're not really networking. We're not really pushing our foot forward to meet other people. So I decided that I wanted to create a networking event where it's mandatory and you kind of have to mingle and talk to people that you did not come there with. So when you come into the event, the first thing you get is this color-coded guide, and every color represents a different bunch of occupations. So say red, it will be editor, writer, journalist, blogger, vlogger, podcast host, in that type of range. And then we have it'll be 5 different colors for those type of groups, and whatever your occupation is, you have to put on the wristband. So then we'll play. So that's when, if I didn't know who you are and you have all these colors, I can either look on the guide that I have and be like, oh, so which one of the colors that you actually do, and then that will make us connect and talk to each other.
That's cool.
I also realized that if you go to a networking event, I can be talking to somebody who's a comedian, but I do nothing with when it comes to putting you on television, and I'm an editor, so I really can't help you when it comes to TV. So not saying that our conversation was pointless, but it didn't help either of us. You know what I mean? So trying to get people to connect with the right person the right way. And some people don't know how to network. People don't know how to approach other people. I call myself a person that's an introvert, but in a setting where I have to talk, I am good at it. And I'm good at approaching you. I'm good at sliding in DMs also for business. Like, if, and I feel like people are sometimes scared to do certain things when it comes to, especially in person. Like, social media is a thing where we can hide behind our phone and be good.
Absolutely.
I see people all the time that I see on Twitter that you followed me 2 days ago, but you just like walked past me. But my ass is like, hey, aren't you at
and then they're
such?
like mad
like,
shy about
they're
it.
like, oh, what? Like, dude, don't what me. You just followed me 2 days ago. So it's just things like that I've noticed, and just trying to get people to talk to each other more, that, that people that you just don't know. It's not being so cliquey and feeling like you need this like approval from this one group of people that because everybody goes to certain events and only these certain people events and things like that. So I just wanted to be able to bring creatives together in a professional setting to mingle and network with the right people.
Were there any issues that arose when you first started? Who did you meet?
I didn't actually have my first big issue to me until my 3rd event, where I kind of put other people in charge of things that I shouldn't have. And I should have just did things on my own, like I normally do. I also learned in the last 2 years of working with Day Summit and having Who Did You Meet, and coming from a media company where we kind of like broke up, I've learned a lot about myself and how I handle situations and how I work with others. I also had to learn that people aren't me. Like, people don't work like me. People don't think of things as quickly as I do. I'm a person that I always say I can multitask. I'm very quick on my feet, and sarcasm is my best language when things are not going right. So when I've learned that people might not be as efficient as I am or as proactive. Like, I think if you work with a team of people and you're not proactive, you're kind of useless. Like you're
straight up.
Yeah, you're kind of useless. Like, if you're just here ready to do your job, like, I get that. But if you see the team needs help and you're not about to be proactive, then you're kind of useless. Thank you for what you do, but you're not being a team player to me. And, I've learned that
run along.
Yeah, like, you're good. I learned that everybody doesn't think that way. Everybody does not know what it's like. Everyone does not know what it means to work in a team. And because I've danced and you've danced, so you know that, you fuck up.
Collaboration is key.
If you fuck up, we all fuck
look
up.
a mess.
We all look a mess.
You're
like,
only
if
as
you,
strong as your weakest
yes,
link.
Exactly. Like, if you ain't get that 8 count, then bitch, we all look like we didn't get that 8 count. Like, that's how it is.
And the worst thing about that is, like, your eye always goes to the person who messes up.
Exactly. So it's like, okay, oh shit, like, she messed up, and now, like, the whole audience is on her, and now it's a reflection of all of us. So I've learned that, I had to take a step back sometimes when I'm angry or frustrated or highly annoyed to, walk away or read that text message or email and get back to it 45 minutes later, because how I want to react right now is not the most smart and appropriate type of thing. So yeah, that's what I've learned about doing events and just working with other people. And I actually, for Day Summit, I curate panels for the summit. So I did 3 panels that you were on, and this was my first time hiring a social media intern to help me. And that was really hard for me to be able to let that responsibility go. And she was from Connecticut. She came up here for the festival. She's 19. And I also felt good. I gave like a 19-year-old an opportunity. And she's like her second time coming to New York City. And she like stayed in Brooklyn. And I was like, oh my God, I feel like I did something for, like, I actually got somebody to want to do something or made them excited to do something. So that was like an accomplishment that I realized that I want to do more of. And also, one of my interns for a Day Summit invited me to his graduation. Aww. I was at work ready to tear up and crying, like, oh my God. They were like, what's wrong? I was just like, give me a minute. And he was like, what's wrong? I was like, nothing, I'm just really excited. Like, I would have never thought somebody like an intern would invite me to their graduation. So just things like that, I realized that I'm put on earth to do, like give opportunities to others and help other people.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
So also, there's also some more great news. You are the editor-in-chief.
Oh, yes.
Of the ICN.
Yes. It's so crazy because I've known Wise for so long. Maybe since I was 23, I'm going to say I met Wise. I met Avery at 22, so maybe like around 23. And I always admired Wise and his work. I think I tell you this all the time, but I always admire his work. And I'm like, oh my God, Wise. Like, I love him. I think he's so dope. So for when he asked me to be a part, I was just like, I hope you didn't think I would ever say no. Like, like, duh. Like, of course I would do that. Of course I would. I have no problem doing that. I honestly think anything Wise asked me for, I would probably do, good or bad. Like, oh, you want to do that? Oh, it's not the best thing to do, but I'm down. Like, I'm good. We'll do that. So I'm excited. It's new work. I'm excited. I didn't know that I was good at being an editor and running a team of people to write. Which Day Summit taught me that I was good at doing. I love making presentations for my writers for like new projects that we're going to do and stuff like that. So I'm excited to see where I can take this and build from it. And I also think it will help me go back into loving podcasts like I used to. I had a podcast panel last year for Day Summit, and I didn't do one this year. So when people were asking me, like on Twitter, maybe like around March before the festival, asking me how come, like, is there a podcast panel? And I'm just like, oh shit, like I really stopped listening to podcasts for like almost a year, and it was really hard for me to want to put podcasts on a panel and I didn't listen to them. And I feel like that's kind of unfair for me to say to you, like, hey, come be on my podcast, and I meet you in person and I have no clue what the concept of your podcast is about. So I couldn't do that this year, and I'm hopefully next year I can do something and do something bigger with podcasts for next year's summit. So with this, I'm just hoping that it will help me transition all of that within the next year.
How else are you hoping that ICN can grow under your tutelage?
I'm all about creating traffic to a website and making sure I know what audience that we have that is going to want to read what we're talking about when it comes to podcasts. So I feel like once I get my groove into knowing what the audience is and what type of podcast they like, I feel like I can help us grow in numbers when it comes to our audience and be able to bring more people to what this network is. I also give people a spiel about this network when they tell me they have own podcasts. I'm like, oh, my friend has his own network. You should contact him. And I'm always telling them, like, having a podcast, especially when I talk to people about wanting a podcast, like, that takes a lot of work.
It is. You know how tired I am every week?
It takes a lot of work. Like, having someone, a producer, an audio, like, all of that stuff. Like, when I worked with Dominant Media, Janelle and Avery, they were really good at audio. And I was just like, girl, no, just put the mic in front of me. I don't know nothing y'all are doing behind those boards. And I'm good. Like, I don't want to learn. Like, that's not something
Ignorance is
like,
bliss.
I'm good. Like, I'm not about to sit here and play myself. So with that happening, I'm just like, oh, so now I'm doing this. I can learn all aspects of a about podcasts, period, with not just writing and doing reviews on them or getting other people to do reviews or giving their opinion statements on things like that. So I'm just excited just to see where this can grow. I watched Day Summit grow in a year, so I'm just excited I know things like that are possible, so I'm just excited to see where that happens.
Day Summit was really cool.
Thank you.
Enjoyed like being there. It was nice to see people in the audience who genuinely seemed interested
in what it is.
Yeah.
I also love doing the panels because I make sure, so the media personality panel and the all male panels, the only panels I knew everybody. I knew everyone on those on the panelists. I've known them. I have relationships with all of them. Your panel with all male panel, I never met any of you. So I try to make that a point in one of my panels. Like I get to meet new people. I love hiring my friends, but I can't always hire my friends. So I was just like, oh shit, I'm about to put a group of women together that never met each other, I don't think. And I literally never met any of you except for Ebony. And I just thought that, not to say this as fucked up as it is, but my intern Rachel, she was a part of the panel. She was a last minute sweet girl. She was a last minute add on, and I really wanted it to be like an all black women female panel, but I couldn't tell her no. So I was just like, how am I gonna like spin this to make it still women and not just have it as a race, because I have this one girl on there, but still sneak in my all black questions that I wanted to be asked. So that was one challenge that I did have this time around with Day Summit. I was like, oh shit, like I want to put all black women on the title and everything. But then I have Rachel on there, and I'm like, I can't do that to her.
But Rachel gave some great
answers. Love Rachel. First of all,
like,
Rachel's
awesome.
hands down top 3 interns I've ever had in my life. She was everything. She literally came here from, I forgot what state she's from, like 6 months prior for being on, like Day Summit was her first job, coming to New York City and everything. And she actually stopped interning for us 2 months before Days started. For the summit started. She did like her last month with us, and then she got a new job. And I was like, when she sent me her like her 2 weeks notice email, like I was heartbroken. Aww. I was like, wait, I called her, I was like, are you for real? Like this is a real email.
Why are you really leaving?
I was like, you're really leaving? She was like, please don't make me cry at work. I was like, no, for real. Like you're like top 3 interns I've ever had. Like she was one of those people that I would look into having an intern, like being proactive, wanting to do more, wanting to learn more. She stayed after all the meetings and asked 1,000 questions, which I love. I'm a question. I will ask you 1,000 questions. So when people be like, I will have no questions, I'm just like, how? So you know everything? Like how you don't have no questions? So she was just great. Rachel was awesome. She was so dope. I wish her all the best.
A cool chick. One last question. What is like your highest goal?
My highest goal? When it comes to what though?
When it comes to being a creative.
Okay. I want my highest goal is to be for who did you meet to be able to create jobs for other people. From other brands. So I would like to be able to say that someone got hired through a Who Did You Meet event because they met this person and they connected with each other. They got their resume, they did an interview, and then they got hired. Like that's my goal with Who Did You Meet? I want to be able to create different jobs for people that don't know how to approach a job or get a job or is relying on the internet to find them a job, or relying on the fact that you got to go in through Indeed and LinkedIn and all these places. And
I hate LinkedIn.
Yeah, LinkedIn is just too much for me. That the process of my own profile is a lot, I feel like. So I can't.
It's just too much.
I can't. It's a lot. So I've gotten, and I'm saying that because I've gotten like regular jobs, like bullshit jobs, off of me walking in there and just talking to somebody. You know, I got into doing what I'm doing today because I had a conversation with somebody I worked with at a restaurant. Me telling him that I used to dance and things like that, and me basically bragging about how organized I am and how like my life is just like super in order and I know how to do this and this and this. And I was bragging to him about that. He was like, oh, you should meet my manager Avery and help her out and be her assistant. And that's how I got to where I am today, literally by talking shit to somebody at my, not talking shit, but
Just talking
like basically telling him what I think I'm capable of doing, and he believed me. Shout out to Elusive, and he believed me, and that's how that happened. So if I feel like if I can do that, and that's not, and I've gotten plenty of jobs that way, like plenty of jobs. I got my Blink Evil job stalking Gia Peppers. Like that's how I got that.
How do we get that girl on this show? Is she too busy? Is she too fly for this show? Okay, let's do it.
She's dope. I love Gia.
I met her one time.
Yeah, Gia's.
Oh, well, let's get her done.
So that's how I got my jobs. So I feel like if I can do that, then I can create that type of confidence and space for other people.
I love it.
Thank you.
I love when people help people.
Yeah.
And I love when people...
I also learned that I'm really good at helping others. And I've learned that when I worked with Dominator Media, or after Dominator Media split, when Avery would ask me to do like small things for her, like I realized those small things mattered to her company, and I can help you with that. Or even when Scott approached me about Day Summit, I realized like, oh, that's just me helping a startup brand. With Artlum, that was Nate asking me to help him, and that was a startup brand. Like I know I can give elements to a startup brand and leave that brand and be like, okay, y'all good, and just go to the next one. That's what I ultimately want to do. Like, awesome. I'll stay at a brand for like 3 months and then leave y'all. Like, okay.
It was fun.
My work here's
done.
What
is that video? It's like, I had fun. Da, da, da.
Yeah. Like, I had fun. This was cool. I'm out. Like, I did my job here until the next year. I'll see y'all. Yeah. I'm good.
Love it. So we have an update. Kanye West tweeted about the slavery comment. And he said... The reason why I brought up the 400 years point is because we can't be mentally imprisoned for another 400 years. We need free thought now. Even the statement was an example of free thought. It was just an idea. Now, no. Because slavery is not mental imprisonment. That type of slavery he was talking about is not mental imprisonment. That's
then he had the nerve
slavery.
To say that it was he said, if you was in slavery for 400 years, that sounds like a choice. Like, are you for real?
Oh my god.
So like really, Kanye?
It's
like
just
only that your mom was a professor,
and the thing
she would be disappointed as fuck. I don't care what you tell me.
Even
your mom would
in
be
the Charlemagne interview, he was like, "Oh no, my mom probably would have voted for Trump." I'm like, Donda West would not have voted for Trump, and if she was still here today, you wouldn't have voted for him either, or wanted to vote for him because he said he didn't even vote.
He said he didn't vote?
He didn't vote. He said if he had voted, he would have voted for Trump. And now he's like obsessed with Donald Trump.
It makes my stomach hurt. Yeah, he's very stressful.
It's just I'm tired of this free thought nonsense.
But like, don't cover the fuckery that you're saying and calling it free thought. Like, what's his name from TMZ?
Harvey Levin
Van. He said, no, actually, I don't think you're thinking freely. I think you're doing the opposite of that.
You're thinking just without any thoughts at all. You're just
talking.
You're literally just talking. You're just spewing nonsense.
But that's like typical Gemini shit, though. I'm sorry. I have a lot of Gemini friends, and my older sister's a Gemini, and it's to a point where I just feel like y'all knowledge is talking because you like to hear yourselves talk and you think you're right.
Say it again.
You like to hear yourselves talking and you think you're right. And you're not. And it's like, and it's okay that you're not right. And it's okay that somebody else might be right. Like,
someone had the nerve. We were talking about how Gemini men are like problematic. And then they're like, but Gemini women are like totally fine. And I just looked at her and I'm like, you're just saying that from a Gemini woman standpoint, but that is a lie. I'm a Leo. Oh, okay. And our traits are stereotypically negative.
Facts.
But I have noticed.
Are you a July or August?
I'm August. I'm dead smack in the middle of Leo season. So I'm like not going anywhere. 17th? August 6th.
Oh yeah.
So I'm not going anywhere. I don't have any Cancer. I have no Virgo. I'm Leo. This is what you get. So like
that's how I am about. I'm a full Capricorn. I'm January 11th. I am smack.
You are the peanut butter and jelly part of the sandwich.
I am not no Aquarius, no Sag. Nope.
None of that. There. But like I've noticed that like Geminis are narcissists.
Oh yeah.
Like I didn't notice it, and then I started to see how bad it really was. Damn.
But I notice more narcissistic behavior in the men than the women.
Now I see more. Kanye and Trump obviously are narcissists, but then there's like people I know. I'm not gonna call them out, but the ones I'm talking about in my head, heavy female narcissists.
Really?
Like it's bad.
I know
It's very bad.
I know more men that way.
Like to the point where I had to mute these women on Twitter because they're just like they're just speaking their mind, but just wanting to see who agrees with them, to see that they're right or to see that they're smart or they're thinking like.
So my problem with people like that is that so people who are narcissists and passive aggressive people, we always don't ever get along because I attack your passive aggressiveness because I know you're being passive about it, and I'm nowhere near passive about my aggressiveness. If I'm gonna be aggressive, we're gonna do this.
Ain't no passive.
No passive about this. So if you about to be passive aggressive, now I'm gonna question that, and I'm gonna pick at it. Now you want to sit here and be a narcissist and think I'm about to agree and feed that ego.
No, sis.
We can play this game. No, I'm not.
No, sis.
No, I'm not. I'm be looking at you like you're, and I'm questioning everything you say because I don't believe you.
You know what
you're
I also
wrong.
noticed that Geminis do? They're like, you know, the people who are like, lay low and build, like don't tell anybody about your business. Geminis are just like, I got this project and I'm gonna slay the world. And I'm like,
Kanye. Like you sat there and said you
Geminis.
had all these things that you're doing on with Calabasas and
so frustrating.
Your
Like,
fashion
everyone
shows and stuff
always
like
needs
that.
to know about your shit. And I'm like, we actually
Yo,
don't.
on reality, I'm a person that tells you straight, like, I didn't give a shit for that information. Like, that's not something I needed. I'm good.
It's just like, no.
I'm like, oh, you talking to me? Oh, you thought I wanted to hear that?
See, this is why I like Beyonce. Because she
don't
doesn't
say
tell
shit.
anything until
bitch
it
don't say
happens.
shit. That's
like
earth sign shit. She's an earth sign. Thank the earth sign lords. She doesn't say anything, and she's about her shit. Like, let me tell you something about Virgos. My top 3 Virgos: Kobe Bryant, because he's a god; Michael Jackson,
because
and Beyonce.
Durr.
Them 3 are. If I tell anybody, if you want to see somebody dominate their craft, watch them. Like, watch Kobe Bryant documentaries. Watch every Michael Jackson video that you can possibly find about him talking about
Always
what he does for a
the
living.
Mark, on the money.
Like, you'll be soaked into that and so inspired by it. It's just like, okay, so basically what I've been doing with my life is nothing. And what I thought I was working hard. Clearly I'm not. That's how I feel every time when I watched the first Kobe Bryant documentary, and I was like, oh, I thought I was doing something with my life, but clearly I'm not working that hard.
I guess I'm actually worthless.
Yeah, it's like, I guess I'm doing nothing with my life.
Like, honestly, like, I love how, like, she stays quiet and then you don't hear about it or see it until it happens. I feel like I'm starting to try to implement that in my own life. Like, when I interview certain people, no one knows about it till it happens. And I post about it. I'm like, oh, yeah, I interviewed so-and-so. Here, read it. I'm like, it's a way to live life.
No, seriously.
Like,
you don't have to announce everything.
And I'm a pretty private person to begin with anyway. So I'm just like, no one needs to know.
No.
And I also am very self-aware. So I'm like, I know when people are going to care and when people are not. So certain things I just keep to myself because I'm just like, no one gives a damn.
Why am I wasting my time telling you this?
Exactly.
When I know you really don't give a shit.
Precisely. So the third segment of the show is my favorite segment. It's called Unpopular Opinions.
Okay.
So you just, give an unpopular opinion and we talk about it.
My unpopular opinion. Does that have to be about music?
It can be about anything.
Okay.
Anything
I don't
in the
think
world.
Steinfeld is funny.
No, it isn't. It's terrible.
Okay, thank you. I think it's
Our
terrible.
editor-in-chief last week, we were doing something for a project that we're working on. And we're adding, like, all these classic, like, black films and movies and stuff. And they're like, oh, we can add some white stuff, too. And he's like, how about Seinfeld? And we're like, why?
Steinfeld's not funny.
And they're like, oh, it's like the right kind of dry humor. I'm like, no. I know dry humor.
Yeah,
and that's not it.
And it's funny because I love Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Curb Your Enthusiasm cracks me
First
up.
of all, okay, so I tell people this all the time about me. I'm a person, I get very influenced by things like that. Like, it is a heavy influence on me. So, like, certain things I couldn't listen to before I went to school when I was younger, like, I used to listen to TLC's fan mail album, Heavy, and there's a song on there called Good at Being Bad. And they're basically talking about how they fuck niggas over and they don't give a shit. And I used to listen to that song and, like, go to, like, I used to go to Bronx Dance Academy, which was a middle school for dance. And I used to be in school walling the fuck out. So, like, certain things I can't listen to. So Curb Your Enthusiasm is a show that I don't watch before I go to work because it heightens my sarcasm to 1,000. So, like, when I'm at work and I deal with dumb white people and they're talking to me and I just watched another dumb white person shit on white people and I'm just like, I should not watch Curb before I go to work because I want to say something so sarcastic and asshole to you right now,
and
I cannot
won't work out that way.
I can't, and that's certain things I don't watch wrestling before I go anywhere.
So then you're gonna be all mad aggressive.
That I want to be aggressive, especially if I hang out with my godbrothers and my nephews. Like I want to clothesline everybody.
See, like
I can't do that.
When I usually just like I stay in a pumped up mood when when something like that happens. So like in the morning I listen. In the morning, I listen to Trina.
You do?
Every single morning. I'm like, this is how I feel. I feel like Trina.
What song do you listen to?
Every single day, I listen to like either a different Trina song or a Rick Ross.
Really?
My frequent out of the Trina songs is probably The Baddest Bitch because it just like it makes me feel good.
As a woman, I'm also, it makes you really feel like you can do whatever the fuck
also
you
a
want.
big fan of Pullover because like I just feel confident. And then when I want to listen to Rick Ross, I usually listen to, oh man, I love Dead Presidents off the new album. Yeah. I feel very confident when I listen to that. And then otherwise, I listen to Hustlin' like all the time.
Oh, yeah. The remix?
Is it? I think so, yeah.
I love the remix.
I just feel confident when I hear Rick Ross.
So lately, I like I was telling you, I've been in the gym for the past 2 weeks. And
for the past 2 weeks?
And I've been, because I have Tidal, I listen to a lot of, so I can watch Beyonce's Made in America over and over and over.
It's so good.
And I've been watching that when I was on a treadmill, and I'm just like, I'm just too fucking hyped right now. Like to the point where I have to put the speed up to match my like how excited I am watching this. Or like at the Beachella, I watched it. I found the link and I watched it over again, and I was just like, I'm going to work right now, so hyped for no reason. I don't even want to fucking be there. Blessed. And I just feel like I was blessed. Every one of my coworkers came to work that day dead. All the white girls was like, Latrice, thank you for telling us that they were going to live stream it on YouTube. I was like, yeah, because you stayed up to 2 o'clock in the morning.
You need to get your blessing.
Yeah, like I did. And I came to work happy. I was tired as fuck, but I was happy. And I was just like, you're blessed. You're blessed. All the women in here were blessed.
You're blessed.
We're blessed. My only 2 black coworkers, I was like, y'all are really blessed. Like, we're in here. Thank you, Beyonce. I was dead the next morning, girl. I couldn't believe I stayed up that long.
I did not stay up, but I found the link like after I was well rested. So I went home. I was in Rhode Island with my friends, and I went home back to New Jersey, took a shower, laid in bed, let the computer buffer. I just sat and watched Beyonce when I was well rested.
Really?
I felt so much better.
To be very honest with you, I went home. I took a nap. I set my alarm for 1:30.
Oh my God.
Woke up my sister. We rolled up. We literally let it play the entire time, and then we heard it. We came in our room, jamming. We had the lights on and everything, like going off in our room dancing. My mom walks in from going out because she thinks she's the shit. And because it's like 2:30 in the morning. And because when my mom comes home late, me and my sister are like, where could you possibly be coming from? But she comes in and she's like, why y'all, like, come on. Like, what are y'all doing? And we're like, it's Beyonce. She's like, oh, for real? And then she just joins in on the party. And then that's how our night went. And I'm the only one that worked the next day. And I was just like, I'm going to go sleep for an hour because I get up at 5:30 for work the next day. And I was like, but it was well worth it, Beyonce. Thank you.
So back to Seinfeld really fast. Now, is it the writing that you don't think is funny, or like the characters, or the execution?
I just think the execution, like the jokes don't land for me, and the sarcasm doesn't land either.
That's how I feel about How I Met Your Mother.
Oh my God, that's one of my favorite shows.
Oh my God, that was like my second unpopular opinion of the show.
Are you kidding me? Barney Stinson is a genius.
No, I think that it has a laugh it has a laugh track, so I'm like, oh, was I supposed to laugh at that?
Okay, so
it's
I just realized
the humor's too fast, but it's like fast. Not funny to me.
Okay, so I also didn't realize how important laugh tracks were because I also laugh at everything. So to me, I didn't realize that How I Met Your Mother has that.
Oh, it's so obvious.
I don't know. So I also watched.
It's so obvious.
I watch the show way too much. Like I know every episode. Ugh. Like I'm a thirst bucket for Barney Stinson. I can't even sit here in front like I'm not. Like I love him. I think because in reality, if that he would be my friend. Harris? Yeah, no, he would 100% be one of my good friends because I have friends that act like him. So I know for a fact, like if I had his narcissist, because he's a narcissist on another level in the show, I would have him as a friend just because he would make me laugh all day, and I know he's gonna come to wherever we are with a whole nother story that I love. I can't believe you don't like that show.
See, I like dry humor. Like, I love The Office.
Oh, The Office.
I just started
everything.
rewatching again for like the third time.
Everything. What's your favorite episode? Because I was telling my sister how much
the episode where I think honestly is the episode where Stanley had a heart attack.
Oh my god!
I thought it was or when he gets all worked up and yells at Michael. He's like, "Did I stutter?"
When he told when it was pretzel day and
yes,
he was like,
another.
He was like, to the back, like don't play that shit.
Honestly, Stanley is a national treasure.
He's oh my god, is he?
He's so is he funny.
When he and I'm watching. My friend was at my house yesterday and she never really watched The Office, and I was like, "Girl, you want to laugh and you pregnant? We gonna watch The Office." So I put on the episode where Michael is describing the picture on the wall by Stanley's desk. And he's like, yeah, that pretty little girl in the Catholic school outfit looking all good. And he's like, yo, that's his daughter. He was like, that's my daughter you talking about? Like, Stanley has his authority. And I think it's like because he's the black man in the office.
When he gets that, like, that
bass in the voice, it's like, don't fuck with him.
Stanley... Oh man, especially not on pretzel day.
Oh, I love him. He was like, to the back. I was like, did he really blackball her for pretzels though?
The best day
he really did.
of the year.
I also love the episode where Michael and Jane live together and they have a party at their house.
Party. Yeah, and then is this the episode where they're like low key fighting at the table and everyone's like mad awkward
but they're
about
like
it.
They're fighting the entire time.
Yeah,
like,
and everyone's kind of just like standing there. And
so
well, that's when she breaks the vase, like throwing something at him.
I love that episode because it plays an awkward moment. Mm-hmm. Like you and your man is fighting, but your girls are there.
Mm-hmm. And literally everybody was there.
Everybody was there. and fucking Dwight is also a national treasure because I just don't ever think there's a person on this earth that really acts like who is really Dwight.
He's so
like
awkward.
He's just so his own type of person. And things that he do, I think, is so unnecessary.
Oh, I also like the episode about the funeral for the bird.
Yes. Even though they went way too far.
They did.
Way too far. I also think it's funny that when Dwight had to break the news to boring-ass Angela that he killed her cat. And then his thing was like, he was just like, it's just a cat. Like,
and but Angela about the cat.
Can we just talk about also how boring the women are on that show, except for Meredith and
Phyllis?
Yes, I love Phyllis.
Phyllis is so cute.
I love Phyllis. And I love when Phyllis have to tell Angela, like, bitch, don't play with me. Mm. I will tell all your secrets.
I do like Erin too, but she's like, every time Ellie Kemper plays a role, she's always like that sunny, sweet. Like,
and it's annoying.
Yeah. Like even in Kimmy Schmidt, it's like, ugh.
I never watched that. Is that funny?
First season, yes.
Okay.
Second season, ugh. Third season was a bit better. But I would only watch it for Titus.
Okay. Did you watch Broad City?
Broad City is my favorite show.
Are you sad that it's...
Absolutely.
Okay.
One of the episodes I was on the way here once, Alana was on the corner getting something like from the pharmacy. So I'm walking around the corner and I scream in her face. And I felt so bad because I don't like getting starstruck. And it doesn't happen very often. Mm-hmm. But I had just wanted to get tickets because she was playing at the Laugh Factory, the Stress Factory in New Jersey. And it was sold out. And I was so upset. So I turned the corner and Alana's there. And I start bawling. I'm like, I just love you. You are so... Like, she's like... Everything. She loves like black women and women of color. And she's a champion for all feminine women rights. I literally like cried in her arms. I'm like, you're my favorite white woman. Never change.
No, seriously, she is top 5
I love Alana Glazer so much.
I love Abby too, but
Alana is different.
No, Alana. Okay, so Alana's one of my spirit animals.
Absolutely,
especially in the show when she's very free about her
now
sexuality.
That's a dry humor I like.
Oh yeah, that's a dry humor I love, especially with women. I also like Broad City that it's really a show about two best friends who are overly obsessed with each other because their friendship is obsessive.
Oh,
and
the episode where they had like their friendiversary and Abby completely forgot.
Or the episode where Alana thought Abby was lost. And she was like literally losing her shit. Mm-hmm. They have a very weird friendship.
It's very cute.
But I also think Alana is way more obsessed with Abby than
Oh,
Abby
absolutely.
is with
Absolutely.
Abby
Like when
is
she
with
like
her.
says those like subtle lesbian comments and she's like, what? And she's like, nothing.
Or like the episode when she goes, because I love the fact that her boyfriend's a dentist. When they go,
they're like officially back together?
Yes, in the show.
Good.
Yes,
Lincoln.
because I didn't like the little breakup.
I didn't like it either.
Because I was like, is he off the show? Like,
I
why
really
they
didn't like it
why did
because
they
they
do
were
that?
so cute together.
Yeah, I love their relationship, even though it showed as a woman, Alana had no sense of what a relationship was.
Yeah, she was just like,
she
knew she wanted something, but she didn't want to call it what it was.
It was, exactly. But then she was pissed when he was with Shorty.
Mm-hmm.
Whole new girl. She was livid. And I was just like, oh.
Deleted all social media.
She was so mad. I was like, oh, look at see.
Now
Alana actually in some other type of emotion.
Something.
Besides Abby.
Yeah.
Literally. Because she loves Abby. I love that show. That's one of my favorites. And I like the fact that it's basically two best friends that live in New York who are potheads. And they're like getting through life living in New York City. And I like the fact that they hate the Upper East Side. Mm-hmm. It's like a foreign place to them that they know they don't kind of belong as white women. Jewish yes, white women on top of that.
It's just a great show. But moral of the story, Seinfeld's not that funny. Seinfeld is not as good as any of the shows we mentioned.
No. It's no. And no.
My unpopular opinion, I don't know how unpopular it is, but I do not care about the royal family. I don't care about the Queen. I don't care about Harry, William, Kate, any of the babies. Or Meghan Markle. I don't care. Like, honestly, I went to ShopRite the other day, and since I don't pay attention to them nor care, I didn't know that Kate Middleton was pregnant.
I had no clue.
So then I was like, I texted my friend. I'm like, oh, Kate Middleton's pregnant? She's like, yeah, you didn't know? I'm like, no. Then a day later, all over the news, she had another baby. I'm like, why do we care? It's America. We don't have a king or a queen. Like, are we that desperate that we want to find out information about these monarchs that we have to like flood the zone and talk all about? I don't care about these babies.
Really don't care. I also don't care for other people's kids. So I'm also just like,
it's just so annoying.
They're not my kids. So
and then I follow, I think it was Teen Vogue that put it on Twitter. They're like, here's where you can watch the royal wedding. I'm like, isn't that for like, not another 2 weeks? Why are we already talking about it now?
Oh, yeah.
I don't care.
The only thing I cared about, I shouldn't even say cared, that I actually cared to read about was the fact that, I don't know which son is dating a girl who's black, or she's half black or something like that.
She's like half black.
She's like half black or something.
Harry.
And I know that
Harry's
there was
cute.
Yeah, and then I know there was like a little bit of a issue because she was half black or not white skinned, because she's definitely don't look like Kate. Like, she's not white like Kate, or she's not a white woman like Kate at all.
It's just I just don't care.
Yeah,
then they had a whole big thing because it was the Queen's birthday a couple days ago, and I'm like, why are we still talking about these? Because like, we don't live there. Like, I would understand if we lived in the UK, mm-hmm. we could talk about the Queen and the monarchs all we want.
But we don't live there.
It's America. We have our own issues to deal with.
They're so important that they'll be like on channel 2 and like they'll shut the channel down for them.
Yeah, I don't get it.
I'll just be like,
they're like, breaking news, Kate gives birth. I'm like, women give birth every day, dog.
Like every day.
Every day,
to me, that's not breaking news. You know how many people I know that's pregnant right now? Like, I know like 6 pregnant women right now, and I'm just like, you think I give a shit about somebody I don't even know?
Then,
please.
Twitter, like on the moments or like the hot whatever on Twitter, it was trending that her son like waved to the cameras. I'm like, this has got to be a joke. Like, I know, like now I know how. Like, to me, it's as annoying as talking about the Kardashians.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's literally people who were just born rich and born famous, and I don't care about their lives. They're, no matter what they do, except for Harry, they will be
except for Harry,
they're gonna be living famously
mm-hmm.
and ruling a country, except for Harry,
basically.
Yeah, but I think like the second or their firstborn son is heir to the throne after.
Listen, this is not Game of Thrones.
Shit. I
don't give
care.
two shits.
I have never cared about the royals.
That sounds like some Game of Thrones shit. Royal heirs to thrones, and if it's not Game of Thrones, I don't care about it.
The only royal I cared about is Diana, because she didn't care about the throne.
Yeah,
you can tell she's
like the fact that she liked the fact that Michael Jackson had a song called "Dirty Diana," and
because she knew she was the baddest bitch out.
And when he did a tour in the UK and he took the song off his set list, and she was like, "No,
put it on."
That's
and
my
then
favorite
even
song.
so, when Diana and what's the father's name, Prince George, when they got divorced, and she had that freakum dress on, she's like, "Listen, bitch, I am out." And so are my legs. I am free. Let's go.
And I'm still the queen.
Baddest. The baddest.
I used to really like her when I was growing up.
I think Elizabeth basically like told her to like not go around the family. She's like, I know you're like my grandson's mom, but like do not come around these parts no more. Honestly, Diana was a real one. She's the only one I cared about. But yeah, I do not care about the royals at all. And I really don't want to. I actually, there are 2 things on my Twitter timeline that, as in like, you can mute words. There's only 2 words that I've 3 words I've muted on Twitter. Trump and royal family.
I didn't know you could do that.
Yep. So any mention of the royal family or Trump will never appear on my timeline.
Oh, wait a minute.
Self-care is important. And those are the things I just cannot with it.
I didn't even know that was an option.
It's the best thing ever. If you go to your settings on your phone and you can like do like mute stuff.
Wow, I'm going to do Trump.
It's been exhilarating.
Oh my God. Why didn't I know that?
Well, now you know.
Muted.
Because it's Mike's Super Short Show. Remember that?
What did you say?
Mike's Super Short Show.
Oh, I used to love that. Yeah. I used to love that.
But I think that's all for today. This is a jam-packed episode. So let's do our outro.
Yes.
And then we'll be done. So that's all.
I love this. This is so cool.
Thank you. That's all for And Friends with Jana Jefferson. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at JNA Jefferson. And then follow the show on Instagram at And Friends Podcast. And don't forget to subscribe to the show on iTunes, the podcast app, and Google Play, and eventually Spotify. Wise. Where you can stay up to date on new episodes when they become available. And if you'd like to be a guest host on our show, like Letty, who came in clutch today because my original guest flaked. But we're not going to talk about that. Hit me up at infriendsguest@gmail.com and we'll keep in touch. Extreme thanks to my guest host for today, Letty,
you for having me.
This
is so much fun.
What do you have to promote that you want?
Yes. Follow me, King Letty _KingLetty. Who Did You Meet event May 21st. Information will be dropped this Friday. Woo-hoo! So definitely look out for that and follow us, Who Did You Meet, on all platforms.
Yay!
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So before the show officially ends, we do a special little shout out to Donnie Boy Trump. At first it was like,
who's Donnie Boy Trump? Is that Trump's kids?
No, just Donald Trump.
Oh, Donnie. I hate
Donnie Boy. So basically, like, when the show first started, we did like a FU to him. But now that we're trying to be positive, it's 2018. We're like trying to be better. We give like a constructive like.
But what if I'm not trying to be better?
Oh, but here's the twist.
Okay.
So it's like, what should you do? What he can do instead of tweeting. It could obviously be snarky because I love snark.
I think you should sign that. What is it called when you have to resign? I think you should resign. Like how Olivia Pope handed Cyrus those resign papers at the end of the scandal finale. That's what I think he should do instead of tweeting. I know that's not going to happen, but that's the only solution I can come up with right now.
And instead of tweeting, I think that you should watch Michelle Wolf's stand-up set because she ethered y'all. And Michelle Wolf.
Oh my God, we didn't talk about that because she is the real MVP.
Woo!
She literally ethered them.
Michelle Wolf knew what she was doing.
But I love the fact that when she had an interview after it, that she said like, my jokes weren't for them. My jokes were for the people that want to make these jokes that can't because they are not coming here. And I love that. Shout out to her,
Michelle Wolf. I'm gonna like go home and watch her HBO special. I've been meaning to do it.
Now that I watched that like 2 minutes of her,
she was on
them.
Seth Rogen has like a charity comedy thing on Netflix.
Oh, Netflix, right?
And she's on that.
Okay, so now I have to watch her.
So freaking funny because her voice is so silly.
Yes, and
she
it was
such
just
a silly voice.
It was so good.
My favorite joke was when she said, "What's a term for what's Uncle Tom for white women who disappoint other white women? When she was talking about Sarah Huckabee, I was like, yo.
When she was like,
no one makes these jokes.
And then when she was like, yeah, she created a bomb, and then that's how she got her smoky eye look. I was
yes.
Just like,
and she's just like,
she's
maybe
just
it's Maybelline. Maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's lies. It's probably lies.
I loved it.
So yeah.
Yeah, she killed that.
Watch Michelle Wolf stand up chump instead of tweeting.
Yes.
Get a sense
It's
of
a
humor.
good one.
Absolutely. So yeah, tune in 2 weeks. We'll be back with another guest and more talk of the town and more all sorts of stuff. So bye everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
That was so much